My name is Leah, and I teach at Adeline Yoga. And I'm going to give a little introduction to what it means to me. Adeline Yoga means to me. It's my favorite subject. If you know anyone that knows me, I am enthralled with the subject of Iyengar Yoga. So I'm going to try to convey why. And then we'll do some movement that will be safe for everybody. I'll give you different alternatives, and then we'll finish with some relaxation. Sound good? Okay. So in Iyengar Yoga, it's designed for everybody. That's why I was saying, if you caught my video, it's for people with minor aches and pains, like me. You know, we all have aches and pains, right? We're in a physical body. But it's also people with moderate or serious aches and pains. And I've had both, you know, and I know that a lot of people here today have a lot of stiffness, a lot of pain, and we're trying to figure out how to manage it. So it's important to start where we are. That's a really big statement. We start where we are. So to take a step back, what is yoga? Yoga means literally to yoke. What are we yoking? I know there's some old terms because yoga is so ancient, but we're yoking the body, the mind, and the spirit. And we might know our minds, we may know our body, but I'm not sure how in touch we are with our breath or our spirit. But yoga is meant to bring all those three elements together. Yoga has 8 branches, and asana, the yoga postures, which most of us think of when we think of yoga, is the third limb. And yoga ultimately is supposed to bring us to a state of total involvement, pure concentration, full concentration. And ultimately, that leads us to pure freedom. Okay, so yoga is meant to bring us to a state of total involvement and ultimately to pure freedom. In Iyengar Yoga, we bring our full attention to our bodies, to our minds, and to our breath. Okay, and we use props. Iyengar Yoga is known for using chairs and the wall and blankets and blocks so that we can modify poses no matter where we are. If we're in a lot of pain and a lot of stiffness, so that we are practicing with ease. That's a big part of Iyengar Yoga, to make sure we find some ease in every pose and safety. Now, one thing that I've learned in studying yoga philosophy is that, and you might have learned this in your spiritual program, is that we have a lower mind and a higher mind. And the lower mind can be giving us false information all day long. The mind doesn't stop. It's just constantly chattering. And so we need to question those thoughts. And yoga ultimately gives us access to the higher mind, the wisdom mind. Okay. And so we accept and love our bodies the way they are today. And that's really big for those of us who've done yoga when we were younger and now we're older, right? We come to yoga and we're like, I can't do this anymore. What's wrong with me? And we're very critical of ourselves and not accepting. So we have to accept and love our bodies the way they are today. We have to accept where we are. And we notice what these thoughts are. In yoga, I told you we observe the body, we observe the mind. And so we start becoming aware of these thoughts and these attitudes that aren't loving. And the path of yoga, we do the opposite. It's such a beautiful path because it's very simple. You notice a negative thought. I was just doing it yesterday and today. I notice these negative thoughts that make me feel like crap. And then I do the opposite. I just tell myself a better thought. And then I feel freedom and I feel better. And I have an attitude and thought that's more loving kindness. And so in asana class, we give 100% attention to what we're doing, to our body, to our thoughts, to our breath. but we balance effort with ease. In the beginning, we were very aware of the effort, right? Because maybe we haven't been very physically active, or maybe we have a bad back, that's constantly dragging our mind to pain. So how do we find ease? And I hope to show you some ideas today. And so ultimately, Iyengar yoga is about aligning the bones, because the bones support us better than ligaments, tendons, and muscle, especially as we're developing our muscle. So we align the bones, and then we strengthen the muscle to build, so that we're efficient in our effort, and then we can increase mobility, flexibility, stability, and stamina. We align the bones, strengthen the muscles for efficiency of effort. That's how we find ease. And we increase our mobility, flexibility, stability, and stamina. And this way we prevent injury and create safety in the joints. So ultimately, we're learning to take control of our wellness, to find freedom in the body, find freedom in the mind, and find freedom in the breath. And so I encourage you not to compare yourself to others, including the teacher. We look within, and we use yoga to seek personal freedom. So we're going to start moving, and I want to invite you to use a chair, to use a wall. I'm going to show you different ways to find stability in the different yoga asanas. So please take care of yourself. Listen to yourself. Okay? You know yourself better than I do. I could give you some tips, but you need to listen to yourself and know where you are today. Okay? So let's start by sitting. And if you have 2 blocks, this is a nice way to learn how to sit. Now, I invite you to use a chair. If you have severe pain and sitting on the floor is not available to you, sit in the chair. But if you want to sit on the floor, you could have 2 blocks. Adjust my monitor so you can see that better. I'm pretty sure I'm pinned. Oh.
People might not have blocks and whatnot.
And then you could put a blanket on the blocks. Now, this is a very stable situation here, sitting on 2 blocks and on 2 blankets. But if you don't have blocks, you can sit on a bolster, you could sit on 5 blankets, and again, you can sit in a chair. And then we're going to do a simple Namaskar exercise. So if you sit in a chair, remember about the alignment of the bones. So we don't just sit, we sit. It's yoga. We place the ankles deliberately under the knees in line with the hip bones, and we sit up straight. And you can rest your hands on your thighs, shoulders, upper arms back. And if you sit on the floor, sit up high enough for your ability. The higher you sit, the more ease you'll feel. So this is pretty high. But the higher you sit, the more ease you'll feel in the hips, the knees, the ankles, and you'll be able to lift the spine from the tailbone to the crown of the head. So find a comfortable position. And the exercise I want to do today is called Namaskar. We bring our hands together. Now, remember I was talking about total involvement. So I could just bring my hands together and just start talking to you about the weather, but that would not be yoga. Yoga, I go, oh, I'm bringing my hands together. So let's do this together. I spread my palms, I spread my fingers, and I bring the base of my palms together, base of the thumb, the outer hand. I bring my small fingers, ring finger, middle finger, index finger, and thumbs. And I gently press. And then I lengthen my fingers. I lengthen all the joints. There's so many bones and joints in the fingers. So they're lengthening up to the tip of the finger. And it's not a hard pressing, it's a gentle, soft pressing. And then this Namaskar is a yoga mudra, we call it, and it brings a sense of reverence, gratitude, auspiciousness. It's a prayer. And so bringing your concentration, your involvement, your awareness into the hands and spreading the palms, spreading the fingers, and elongating the fingers. This is Namaskarasana, an Anjali Mudra. And it is often done among yogis. Yogis are people who practice yoga, as a way of saying the highest in me. I'm not perfect, but the highest in me, because within us, there's pure freedom, pure joy, pure peace. And it's calling us, and we're answering the call today. That place in me salutes that place in you. Okay? All right. So that is Namaskar in a sitting position. Now we're going to come up to standing to mountain pose. So we'll take the props off our mat. And we'll stand in the middle of our mat. Now, I mentioned that those who need extra stability, you can use a stable surface, like a wall. You can stand in the middle of your mat with your feet together or feet hip width. So I'm going to adjust my monitor so you can see me. So if you need stability, maybe you're on your menstrual cycle, maybe you're older, maybe you're dealing with a lot of pain, back pain, you could have the toes pointing forward. And just like we were spreading the palms, let's spread the soles of the feet. Or you could be in the middle of your mat. So this is called feet hip width. Or you could bring your feet together. The idea here, this is mountain pose. The idea here is the legs move in towards each other as one firm, solid rock, a mountain. So spread the soles of the feet so that they're wide. Spread the toes, just like we were spreading the fingers. And so the foot is wide, and elongate the sole of the foot. So the toes are extending through the toe tips, long toes. And then let's turn the palms forward. Spread the palms, spread the fingers. Mr. Iyengar is known for a lot of things. He wrote a lot. He had a lot of quotes. And he says by spreading the hands and spreading our feet, we could spread our consciousness and relax the brain. So wide feet, wide toes, long feet, soles of the feet, long toes, palms spreading, fingers elongating. Now with the palms turning forward, we could turn the upper arm out and bring our shoulders back. Bring the shoulders back, bring the upper arm back, turn the biceps out, and then just roll the lower arm in so the palms face the thighs. So we could try that again. Upper arm, shoulders way back so the chest is spreading. And then with the biceps turned out, just turn the palms and the forearms to face the thighs. And then long fingers, long toes, soles of the feet and hands spreading. And now lift the front of the legs. Lift the front of the legs, the kneecaps, the front of the thighs to lengthen the spine all the way up through the crown of the head. Grow tall. Lift the chest, shoulders back, chest up, shoulders back, chest up, mountain pose. Very nice. Now we're going to do a stretch using the wall. So I hope you have a wall. So let me show. I'm going to bring my right hip to the wall. And then I'm going to bring my hands. You're not going to be able to see it, but it's going to be spreading on the wall. Then I'm going to lift my heels and come to my toe tips. My hand will come up higher. I'm going to keep my hand on the wall. I'm not going to let it slide down as I lower the right heel. And what's going to happen is I'm going to get space in the ribs, the waist, and the hips. So let's all do that together. I hope you have a wall or a door that you could do this. Bring your right hip to the wall. Place your right hand, spread the palms, spread the fingers. Now lift the heels. The hand will come up higher. Nail the hand to the wall. Don't let the hand slide down too easily, but lower the right heel and get a stretch in the right side of the trunk from the armpit to the hip. Remember to breathe. And then when you're done, let's do the other side. Left hip to the wall. Left hand spreading up on the wall. Then lift the heels. The hands will come up higher. Nail the hand to the wall. Don't let the hand come down as you lower the left heel. Getting space in the left ribs, left waist, left hip. Get long in the left side of the trunk. And then when you're done, let's do the first side again. Right hip to the wall, right hand on the wall, look straight ahead. Now be in your feet. Lift the heels. Be in your feet. Place your right hand on the wall. Be in your hand. Keep the hand there. Slowly and don't forget to breathe. Lower the right heel. And where can you find freedom? In the right side of the trunk, from the armpit to the hip. Good. And I know some of you, the hand didn't lower and you got lots of space. So other side. Hip to the wall, left hand to the wall, lift the heels, lift the hand, keep the hand there, slowly lower the left heel, look straight ahead, be in the feet, be in the hands, be in the left side of the trunk. Let the left side of the trunk stretch, good, and then release. Okay, now we're going to do half forward bend. We're also going to use the wall. So this is a way we could create stability in a pose by using the wall. So I'm going to bring the short edge of my mat to the wall. So I'm going to show and then we'll do it together. This is half forward bend. So I'm going to place my wrist in front of my shoulder, fingers pointing straight up to the ceiling, feet hip width apart. Then I'm going to keep my hands where they are, stretch my feet back so that my ankles are under my hips. Can you see? And I get long in the sides of the trunk. The upper back releases down towards the chest and the head is between the arms. And then I'll step forward and come up. So let's do that together. Let's spread the palms. Place the palms carefully on the wall so that the wrists are directly in line with the shoulders, fingers spreading and pointing up to the ceiling. Then press the palms into the wall. You can look between your hands or down towards the floor and then move the ankles so they're under the hips. And then continue pressing, just like we were pressing the hands into each other. Press the base of the thumb and the outer palm into the wall. Move the hips away. Get long in the sides of the trunk. And then release the upper back and the head between the arms. Towards, the upper back releases towards the chest, towards the floor. Hips back, thighs back. And then step forward to come out. And let's do that one more time. After taking a breath or two, go ahead and face the wall. Now you could bring the hands slightly higher and then keep the gaze of the eyes between the hands if the neck allows. And remember, have the elbows in line with the shoulders and the wrists for bone alignment. Then pressing the palms into the wall, step back and lengthen the arms. Remember to spread the soles of the feet and the toes pointing forward, fingers pointing up to the ceiling. Breathe and then release the upper back, hips back, front of the thighs lifting, kneecaps lifting, head between the arms, long arms, lifted kneecaps, very nice. And then look between the hands, don't let the hands slide. Beautiful. And then step forward. So that's half forward bend. Now we're going to come into the middle of the mat, but I wanted to give some suggestions if you have quite a bit of pain today and you need a little bit extra stability. So we're going to do extended hand foot pose, which is this pose. And then I'm going to go to side hand foot pose. So this takes a lot of balance. And if you're, again, have pain or you're menstruating, maybe you need the support of the wall. So you could have your back to the wall. That's ultimate support. And the heels could be at the wall or just in front. Another way to support yourself is, do you see I'm lifting the mat? So there's softness for the edge of my foot. And I'm going to bring my foot to the wall. So you could practice in the middle of the mat with your back at the wall or your outer edge of your foot at the wall. Now I have the heel to the small toe at the wall. And then you can bring your hands to your hips. Now, in Iyengar yoga, we don't do this casually. We think about everything we're doing. We lift the front of the legs to tighten the knees and lift the thighs so the spine can shoot up from the tailbone through the crown of the head. The outer part of the foot that's at the wall, we press it out into the wall and down into the floor. So we lift the outer knee to the outer hip. That creates stability at the very top of the leg and the buttocks. So whether you're in the middle of the room or at the foot at the wall or heels at the wall, press the outer foot down and lift the outer knee up to the outer hip. Feel the outer legs, just like we're doing a mountain pose, moving in. That will help move the skin and muscle to the bone and the bone into the proper sockets. Upper leg into the hip socket, lower leg in line with the knee and the top of the leg. Outer ankle in, but outer foot down. Good. And now we'll spread the arms. Now, if you're at the wall, the arm that's at the wall will have to bend, and the other arm can extend. So that's one way of doing the pose. If you're in the middle of the room, you could reach through all the fingertips, spread the palms, reach to the fingers, but press the outer edge of the foot down and lift the front of the thighs up. And then if you're doing it at the wall, you could have your heel at the wall. This is kind of nice because you could also press the small fingers side of the hand into the wall and firm the upper arm, the skin and muscle to the bone. Awesome. So take care of yourself. Now we're going to do to the side, hand foot pose. So we're going to rotate the right thigh in the hip socket. We're going to rotate the thigh 90 degrees and bring the heel forward in line with the big toe. Hips, same level. So no dropping of the hips. Hips on the same level for safe hips. Thighs fully rotating. Back foot could be pressing into the wall, or back heel could be pressing into the wall. And small fingers could be pressing back into imaginary wall or actually into a wall. And then to rest, place your hands on your hips, turn the heel back, toes forward, and we'll do the other side. So you could come back to Tadasana and bring the left edge of the foot to the wall. Or I'm going to show with the heel at the wall. So I promised I would take care of everybody. So if you're got a lot of pain or stability issues, this is your pose. What's nice about using a wall is that it's not forgiving. So the alignment is there. It's like the floor. You just know how to keep the head in line with the tailbone. So hand to foot pose. Press the outer edge of the feet down into the floor and out, especially if you're at the wall with the outer foot. Then to the side, I rotate the top of the thigh in the hip socket and bring the heel forward with the big toe. And I don't know if you saw it, but I lifted my hip. So the hips are parallel. Arms in line, wrists in line with the elbow, elbow in line with the shoulders, or even higher, so you can relax the shoulders and lengthen the neck. Good, and then to come out, heel goes back, toes come forward to protect the inner groins, hands to the hips. If you feel like your legs are too wide, you could go heel, toe, and then stand in mountain pose, feet hip width or feet together. Be in the feet, be in your hands, be in your body, and lift yourself up. Lift the chest up, shoulders back, and breathe. Awesome. Now we're going to do a pose called Warrior 2. So I'll show in the middle of the mat. But take care of yourself by using the back foot at the wall or the back to the wall. So I come to sideways hand foot pose, heel forward. Now you see my hands are still on my hips. Anyone with a lot of neck and shoulder pain, you're always welcome to bring the hands to the hips. You listen to your body, but lift the kneecaps, firm the legs, lift the thighs, lift the spine. Good. If you're allowed, if your neck and shoulders are okay, you can spread the fingertips away from the center of the chest. Spread the palm, spread the fingers. Remember the feet, spread the soles of the feet so they're wide and long, long toes. Now we're going to bend the right leg, but we're not going to forget about the left heel pressing and the left fingertips extending. Inhale, lift the chest. Exhale, don't move the trunk, just bend the right leg. Inhale, lift up through the crown of the head. Press the back heel, reach through the back fingertips. Exhale, bend the right leg. Beautiful. And then inhale, grow tall. Now, I want to bend my leg more, but the knee, remember bone alignment. I want my shin bone to be perpendicular to the floor. So I move my back foot out. I extend my arms so they're in the center of the trunk. Reach to the fingertips, reach to the back heel, and then I could bend my leg even more. So I want everyone to have a good experience. So if you have the flexibility, go wider. And then you can look over your right hand for final pose, Warrior 2. Reach to the back heel, reach to the left fingers, chest up, shoulders back, and breathe. And then inhale to come up. Awesome. You can keep your arms up if you're young or you want to develop arm strength, or you can bring your hand to your hip. Turn the back foot in. Now again, I'm going to show with the back heel at the wall, which is really nice to work the back leg. And the front leg, I rotate it 90 degrees, heel forward, in line with the big toe. My back heel is pressing back into the wall and down. You can keep your hands hip like this, hip lifted, or you extend the arms. Spread the chest to the outer arm, through the elbows to the wrists, out to the fingertips. Arms back, chest up. Inhale, grow tall through the crown of the head. Exhale, reach to the back heel and the back fingertips, bend the left leg. Back leg, kneecap, thigh lifting. Chest up. Inhale, grow tall. Exhale. Spread the fingers apart to spread the chest. Bend the left leg. Good. Inhale. Lift the chest. Long neck. Exhale, bend the left leg. Now reach through the back heel and the back fingertips and look over the left hand. Warrior 2, chest up, arms expanded, upper chest expanded. Be in your feet, be in your hands. Beautiful. And then inhale to come up, Hands on the hips, heel back, toes forward. You go heel toe if you need. Mountain pose. So mountain pose is kind of like our base camp for all the poses. Now let's work a little bit on the shoulders. So much tension, right? In the shoulders and the neck. So Baddha Hastasana. I'm going to take my right hand, have the feet hip width, and I'm going to bend it behind me. Then I'm going to take my left hand, and I'm going to bend it behind me. Some of you will be able to hold your outer elbows. Some of you can hold the forearms or the wrists. So hold the arms behind you, and then move those shoulders back. Shoulders back. Don't worry about the elbows. Just shoulders back. So move those shoulders well back. Feel the stretch in the upper chest, in the collarbones. And breathe. Find the freedom. The freedom here is a breath. Legs still moving in towards each other, whether they're hip width or not. Hips moving in, thighs, shins, ankles moving in towards the inner leg. Up, shoulders back, chest up. Awesome. And then release the left arm, release the right arm. Turn the palms forward, spread the fingers, turn the biceps out, shoulders back, chest up. Then just roll the forearms in. Wrists long, fingers long. Shoulders moving down the back, chest up. Front of the thighs, kneecaps up. Beautiful. Now we're going to do side angle stretch. So you can still use your back foot at the wall or your heels at the wall. Or you could be in your middle of your mat. You're going to step your feet about 3.5 feet apart. And you could watch or you could do with me, okay? I'm going to turn the front foot forward, just like we've been doing. And then you could keep your hands on your hips or extend the arms. I'm going to bend the front leg. And then I'm going to rest the forearm of the bottom arm on my thigh. This is called side angle stretch, top hand on the hip. Okay? We'll do it together. That's another thing about Iyengar yoga is we tend to demonstrate and then we do it together. Okay. So hands on the hips or arms wide. Spread the palms, spread through the fingertips, spread the consciousness. Right heel forward. Turn the right thigh in the hip socket, 90 degrees. Good. Now be in the back heel, be in the back fingertips, bend the front leg. And you could bring the back leg further back behind you if you want to go wider. Now we're going to come over the bent leg, bring the forearm to the thigh, top hand to the hip. Side angle stretch. So just like we were doing at the wall, we're lengthening the sides of the trunk to the crown of the head. Now the trunk will be rolling to the floor. So we lift the shoulder and elbow and we move it back. We also move the knee back so it stays over the ankle. And then inhale to come up. Shall we do the other side? Heel out, toes in. Bring the front foot forward. And again, use the wall if you need the support. Back foot could be at the wall or back heel could be at the wall. Hands can stay on the hips. You could go wider with the back leg. Awesome. Chest up, arms up, front hip up, shoulders down. Bend the front leg. Extend over the bent leg with the forearm to the thigh. Reach to that back hip. And then take the top shoulder and elbow back. But keep the bent knee back as well. And lift the trunk, the chest, the ribs, the abdomen, turn to the ceiling. Chest up, keep the head back. Good. And then inhale to come up. Heels back, toes forward. And then we're going to do it again to the first side. But I'll show, because I'm going to add the arms. Did you see how I turned my trunk to face you? Okay, because the trunk tends to turn to the front leg. I turn the abdomen, the ribs, and the shoulders. Then I bend the front leg. Then I bring my forearm to my leg. For those of you who know this pose, you can bring your hand to the floor to a block. Now the top arm I want to lift it, but if my shoulder is coming forward, that's not going to be very fun. So I move the shoulder so the shoulders are stacked, shoulder back, arm up. Then I turn the arm in the shoulder socket and bring it along the head. Okay, so let's do that together. So bring the right leg so it's 90 degrees, turn the thigh, lift the kneecaps, lift the thighs, lift the front hip. Then bend the right leg. Good. Now rotate the trunk up to the ceiling as you extend the waist and ribs that come over the right thigh. Bring that top shoulder, elbow back. Then you can lift the arm. If the shoulders are stacked, turn the upper arm in the shoulder socket. Bring the arm along the side of the ear. Now reach to that back heel. Back heel to the top fingertips. Feel the side angle stretch. Trunk rotating to the ceiling. Bottom knee over the ankle. Breathe, and then inhale to come up. Hands on the hips, other side. So I'm going to show with the heel at the wall. This will give me some stability. I'm going pretty wide, about 4 feet. And I'm going to stretch my arms. I'm going to press the back heel, extend through the right fingertips, bend the front leg. Then I rotate the trunk up to the ceiling, bring my forearm to the bottom thigh, lift the top arm because my shoulder is in line with the bottom shoulder. They're stacked. Then I'll turn the upper arm in the shoulder socket and bring it alongside the head. Reaching through the heel, pressing it down and back into the wall, I extend the top fingers. And I keep rotating the trunk up to the ceiling. I see I could bend my knee a little bit more, so I bend my leg so the shin is perpendicular to the floor. And then I use my arm to hoist myself up. Inhale, hoist yourself up. Heels back, toes forward to keep the groins and hips happy. Then heel, toe, Tadasana. Shoulders back, chest up. Kneecap, thighs up. Chest up, shoulders back. Release the shoulders. Release the upper back. And now let's bend the left arm. Bend the right arm. And hold the elbows, the forearm, the wrists. And then let's move the shoulders back. Have the chin back, head in line with the tailbone, shoulders back, chest up. Shoulders back. Feel the stretch in the shoulders. Don't let the abdomen come forward or the thighs come forward. Chest up, shoulders back, chin up. And breathe. Now remember to stretch on the side of the trunk. Spread the soles of the feet and lift the waist and ribs up. Spread the soles of the feet and press them down. Get a good purchase of the feet. Be in your feet. Get rooted to the floor, to the earth. And lift both sides of the waist and ribs up to lengthen the spine up through the crown of the head. Long neck, shoulders back, chest up. Good. And then release the arms. Palms forward, spreading, fingers elongating, moving away from each other. Biceps out, shoulders back, then forearms turn in. Long fingers. So we lift the legs to lift the spine, and we extend through the fingers to release the shoulders and upper back down the back. The chest has to stay up. Okay. Now we're going to do a triangle pose. So a lot of you do have blocks. So I'm going to show with blocks and a chair. How's that? Triangle pose, you can still use the wall for the back or for that back foot, okay? Stability is important, and we're trying to find balance between effort and ease. But alignment is paramount. And when you have a straight leg pose, like triangle pose, it's easy to lose alignment if you're going for a block. So if you know you're stiff, or if you have hip pain or mobility issues, you're going to use a chair. You're just going to use a chair. If you're feeling like, no, I do triangle pose every day, I want my block. Then you have your block. So this is a class for all levels. So triangle pose, I'm going to show and then we'll do. So my legs are lifting. My heels, well, my soles of my feet are spreading. My heels are pressing. Now, do you see how my shoulders are over my hips? I don't want my shoulders to come towards you. They stay back. What I'm going to do is elongate the sides of the trunk. And then you're like, well, that's it. And my block's there. Oh, thank God I have a chair. Okay, that could be your pose. Or you might be like, no, I have mobility. I can come to the block. Okay? So this is where we have to listen to ourselves. Turn the right leg out. Heel forward. Kneecap, thighs lifted. Spine long. This is how we stay safe. Align the bones. Freedom in the joints. Hands on the hips is fine. Or arms out to the side. Spread the palms. Good. Now inhale. Lengthen the side of the trunk like we were doing up the wall. But we're going over the front leg. Shoulders back. Shoulders in line with the hips. Hand to the chair. Hand to the leg. Hand to the block. Spread the fingertips apart. Open up the chest. Nice. Now you could bring the chest up to the chin away from the chest to bring the head back. And this way you can relax the upper back, the shoulders down the back. Arms moving apart, chest spreading and chest lifting to the face, chin lifting away from the chest, head back. Now come up with tight knees and tight elbows for stability. Inhale. Come on up. Beautiful. Hands on the hips. We do things very methodically around here. Toes forward, heel toe. Other side. Now one hip might be tighter than the other. So we don't know. Maybe we need both just to make sure we take care of ourselves. The legs could be 3.5, 4 feet wide. Hands always could be on the hips. The back foot turns in, kneecap, thigh lifts. Front leg turns out, kneecap, thigh lifts. Now remember, outer hips, that's our power. Outer knee to outer hip. Outer knee to outer hip. Hip on the same level. Arms extended, chest extended. Then we're extending the side waist, side ribs on both sides of the trunk. Shoulders back. Hand down. Top hand to the hip is fine. Hand to the leg. Hand to the block. Just rotate the trunk by moving the shoulder and elbow back. Then the chest can lift to the chin. Chin could move away from the chest to bring the head back in line with the tailbone. Keep lifting the kneecaps. Keep lifting the front of the thighs. Keep rotating the trunk, the chest, the ribs, the abdomen up to the ceiling. Top shoulder, top elbow back. And breathe. And then if you have freedom in the shoulder, go ahead and lengthen the arms away from the center of the chest to the elbow, to the wrist, to the palm, to the fingertips. Now with tight knees and tight elbows, that will give you the most stability. Press the feet down and come on up. Beautiful. Hands to the hips, heel back, toe forward, heel toe, Tadasana. Okay, so now I'm going to show, we're going to do this again, but I'm going to show with the outer foot to the wall. So you can do the pose in the middle of the floor with the back to the wall or the outer foot to the wall. And I like the idea of the mat protecting my outer foot. And I'm going to go a little wider. And I'm going to use my block. So the front leg, I'm going to rotate the thigh fully in the hip socket, heel forward in line with the big toe. Back foot is pressing into the wall, so I feel firmness in the hips, outer knee to hip, and pressing down. The arm closest to the wall, it just rests on the wall, stays bent, no problem. Then I come over the front leg. Now the hand could come to the hip, bottom hand to the block, and then I rotate the trunk up to the ceiling. Kneecaps lifting, thighs lifting. Okay? I see some of you are in the pose, some of you are not. So let's do this together. Press the foot, back foot down and into the wall. Lift the front of the thighs and kneecaps up. Extend the sides of the trunk over the front leg. You can bring your bottom hand to your leg, to a block or to a chair, and rotate the top chest up to the top arm. Shoulder, elbow back. And then if you have freedom in the shoulders, you can extend the arms apart. Reach the bottom hand to the block. Reach the top hand to the ceiling. Tighten the elbows. Spread the palms. Spread the fingers. Good. Very nice. And then with lifted kneecaps and tight elbows, inhale to come up. Beautiful. Then toes forward, heel toe. Other side. So I bring my outer edge of the foot, the whole foot, heel to the toe to the wall. I turn my front leg out. I levelize my hips, lift the front of the thighs. Hands can stay on the hips or they could extend, but the hand by the wall is going to be bent. Then I extend the waist and ribs over the front leg. I can bring my hand to the block and extend the bottom hand down. The top hand can reach up to the ceiling or can stay on the hip. I move the shoulder and elbow back. Chest up, chin up. Breathe, enjoy the freedom in the pose. If you feel a stretch on inner thigh, you're doing it correctly. Now use the top arm. If it's up, lift the top arm up to hoist yourself up. Lift the kneecaps, beautiful, very nice. And then come back to mountain pose. Extend the arms down to move the upper back, shoulders down, lift the chest up, shoulders back. Okay. Now everyone, we're going to need a chair. We're going to do a forward bend using a chair. Now I'm going to give you a few options. So get your blocks as well, if you have blocks. So my feet are wider than the chair legs. Can you see? And my ankles are either under the knees or in front of the knees. So not like this. Okay? So everyone will be like this. Now we're going to bend forward. Okay? So for some of us, having the hands for the blocks for the hands will be very nice as we bend forward. It'll help keep the shoulders and neck soft. Others of us have a lot of flexibility, and we can bring the back of the hands to the floor. And earlier, someone brought their back of their hands to a block, so I thought that was a pretty cool modification. Now, coming forward is not in the cards for today. You know, we work at our own speed. We know where we are. Then we'll come forward to the wall. Same position of the legs. Fingertips on the wall. So there's a feeling of lightness and a feeling of length in the spine, okay? And you look between the hands. So pick your pose, forward bend in the chair. Have the feet wide, and then either come forward with your hands to your blocks, very nice, or your fingertips to the wall in front of you. You could come to another chair, you could come to a dresser. Take care of yourself. This is a forward bend. So some of you will feel it in the inner groin, inner thigh. Some of you will feel like, I can't release my neck and head. It doesn't really go anywhere. But this is the beginning. And then if you have your fingers on the wall, look between your hands. Yeah, good. Now, here we can use the exhalation to help soften the inner groins. So some of you have your feet behind your knees. Try to bring your feet so they're in line with the knees or forward. Spread the toes. Exhale. Good. Very nice. Soften the inner groin. That's the part of the thigh closest to the pelvis. Soften the outer hip. And then see if you could bend the arms. I know for some of us that's really challenging. And release the head. Can you release the head? Can you soften the eyes, the lips, the tongue? Forward bends are very quieting for the nervous system. Are you wondering what we're doing, Mira? Have the feet wide. Oh, that's not Mira. And then come forward. Hi. Come forward to the wall or to your blocks or to the floor. Good. And if it's too intense, then you could come out head last, because the head is super heavy. So shoulders lift, then the head. Now the buttocks move down to the floor, to the chair. The buttocks move down because they're part of the legs, and the spine, the ribs, moves towards the crown of the head. So just another few breaths, and if you need to come out, you come out. Yeah, and you love yourself. You're like, okay, what's the opposite thought that you could lift yourself up with? You could say, oh, I'm so stiff. Oh, I have so much pain. Or you could say, hey, I'm taking a yoga class. I'm here. I love myself enough to take care of myself. And I'm just taking a look at all your beautiful faces, because I'm doing so much yoga and I didn't get a chance to look at you all. Okay. I know that's what we're here for. Okay. So now we're going to come back to a couple more standing poses. Are you willing to stick with me? And then we'll come to the floor. So it's true in the beginning, we do a lot of standing poses to develop that muscle I was telling you about. So we could have stability and strength. So we're going to use a chair, and we're going to use a yoga mat. I'm going to show you with the wall. Okay, but you don't have to use the wall. We're going to do an intense side stretch. So place your chair at the top of your mat. And if you'd like to use a wall for your back heel, it's actually a good idea. Okay, so let me show, because this one is not as familiar, I think, to some yogis as some of the other poses. I'm going to turn to face the chair. So I'm going to turn the back foot in quite a bit, 60 degrees, and my back outer heel is pressing into the wall. I'm going to turn the front foot to face the chair. So my toes are facing the chair. My back heel is pressing back and down. Now what about the hips? The back hip comes forward. The front hip goes back. I'll lift my kneecaps, my thighs, and my arms, and my chest. And I'm going to look past the back of the chair, not down, and bring my hands to the chair. Okay? Thighs lifting. This is a straight leg pose. So let's do, and then hands to the hips to come up. Shoulders lifting to come up to straight. To standing. So let's do that together. So the right leg is going to come forward. The left leg will be at the heel. I'm mirroring you. Okay. This is another Iyengar, I think. Okay. Turn the back foot in. Heel back. But back hip forward. Back thigh forward. Front toes facing the chair. Front hip back. So we're trying to create evenness in the pelvis. Now press that back heel. Be in the back heel. It's so hard, I know. Now you might feel like all the weight is to the outer front foot. Bring weight to the inner foot. Remember, legs moving from outer leg to inner leg. Be on the inner front foot. Then lift the arms up. Lift the kneecaps, the front of the thighs, the chest, the chin. Exhale. Back hip forward, front hip back. Look past the backrest of the chair. Fingertips to the chair. Chest lifts to the chin. Chin looks in the direction that you're looking. I mean, chin extends. Back hip forward, front hip back, chest moving towards the backrest of the chair. Oh, that looks really good. So the hips are even and the side waist is long. Now we're going to develop strength. You ready? Keep the legs and trunk where they are. Just bring your hands to your hips. Oh, and then press the feet down. Beautiful. And come on up. Other side. So let's use the wall. So now we'll bring the right heel to the wall. Left foot faces the chair. We're kind of taking a shortcut here. Left heel presses back into the wall and down. Kneecaps, thighs lifting, chest up, shoulders back. Back hip comes forward, front hip goes back. I know that's a lot of direction, but do your best. We're just planting seeds today. Remember, this is just a taste of what a fundamentals class is. It's a 6-week course. So today we're just planting seeds. Now move the outer legs towards the inner leg, outer foot to inner foot. So there's weight on the inner front foot. Inhale, lift the arms up, lift the kneecaps, lift the thighs, lift the chest, lift the chin. Exhale, back hip forward, front hip back. And then bring the fingertips to the chair. Now look forward. Have a forward-looking outlook. Chest forward, chin forward, upper back down, long neck. Back hip forward, but back heel pressing back. Interesting, huh? Back heel pressing back and down, back hip forward. Front hip back. Chest forward. Get a nice length in the front of the neck and the throat. Chin forward. And breathe. Weight on the inner front foot. Now legs moving from outer leg to inner leg. We're going to build strength here by just bringing the hands to the hips, elbows up, shoulders up, press the feet down to come up. Good. You can step forward or you could turn to bring the legs wide and then step the legs together. We're going to do that again. I'm going to show in the middle of the room, but feel free to use the wall if that's what you need. So yoga teaches us how to take care of ourselves for freedom and wellness. I'm still going to use a chair though, because this is a pretty intense stretch. It's actually called side intense stretch. Okay, so now I'm doing it. I'm showing you in the middle of the room. But you can use the wall, either the heels to the wall or the back to the wall or the back heel to the wall. But in the middle of the room, I step my feet wide, hand foot pose, and I press the outer edge of the foot down. Now I have to turn to face the chair. So I turn my back foot in sharply, 60 degrees. Outer hip forward, back hip forward, front hip to face the chair, shoulders, trunk facing the chair. Outer legs in, weight on the inner front foot. Inhale, lift the arms, lift the side waist, side ribs, lift the kneecaps and thighs. Exhale, back hip forward, front hip back, hands to the chair, chest forward, side waist, side ribs forward, chest forward, chin forward, shoulders down the back, upper back down away from the neck, and breathe. Where's the weight on the feet? Are the soles of the feet spreading? Are they long? Are the toes long? Are the toes spreading? Good. Eyes soft. Facial muscles soft and neutral and relaxed. Now press the feet down, tighten the knees, bring the hands to the hips, elbows up, shoulders up, press the feet down to come up. And then come back to center. And we'll go to the other side. And I'm going to adjust my monitor so you can see my face. Okay. Okay. Turn the back foot in. Back thigh, back hip comes forward. Turn the front foot up. Toes pointing to the chair. Press the feet down. Get a good purchase. Spread the soles of the feet and the toes. Inhale, lift the kneecaps, lift the front of the thighs, lift the chest, lift the chin, lift the arms. Exhale, back hip forward, front hip back. Hands down to the chair, chest forward, sideways, side ribs forward. So we can release the upper back and shoulders down, the back, away from the neck. And breathe. Now tighten the outer knee to the outer hips, firm upper legs. Lift the kneecaps, lift the thighs. Extend the chest forward even more. Chin forward, open up the front of the neck. Eyes gazing forward. Shoulders, upper back, moving down the back. Now to come out, squeeze the legs, outer leg to inner leg. Bring the hands to the hips, press the feet down. Elbows up, shoulders up. Come on up. And then turn back. Awesome, you guys are doing great. And then Tadasana. This is where we gain our composure and breathe. Outer hips in, outer thigh, outer shin, outer ankle. Whether your feet are hip width or together. Reach through the fingertips, spread the palms, spread the consciousness. Relax the eyes, the lips, the tongue. Chest up. Good. Okay. Wide leg forward bend. We're going to use the chair. I'm going to show you first how wide the legs are. I'm going to make sure you can see okay. Okay. It's pretty wide. And as you can see, my heels are wide. Can you see? The edge of my foot is in line with the edge of the mat. Okay? So let me show and then we'll do. And then we're going to do everything we were just doing and come to the chair. And then those of you who are more experienced will bend the elbows and rest the forehead on the elbows. Okay? So let's do that together. So step your feet wide. And if you have any hip or back pain, please bring your outer foot to the wall. It's so easy to do that. Okay? Make sure you have support. Even if it's just for one hip, it'll help stabilize the sacrum. Okay, so the outer edge of the foot matches the outer edge of the mat or is at the wall. Press the outer edge down. Lift the front of the legs up. Spread the toes, so space between all the toes. Inhale. Lift the sideways, side ribs, chest up. Exhale. Keep lifting the legs and the hips, hands to the chair, fingers out, palms out, collarbone spreading. Kneecaps tight and lifting. Front of the legs lifting, hips lifting. And don't let the hips move back or in front of the ankles. So again, alignment of the bones. Chest forward. Should feel really good to move the chest forward. It helps soften the upper back. The upper back actually moves down towards the chest. It's a lot like, what was our third pose? Half forward bend with the legs hip width. Now, you can stay here, or you could bend the arm and rest the forehead. Very soothing forward bends can be, as long as the hamstrings aren't talking to you too loudly. So lift the kneecaps, lift the thighs, lift the hips. We won't be here too long. But relax the eyes, the lips, the facial muscles, the neck and shoulders. Take a couple of breaths here. Good. And then straighten the arms, look forward. Chest forward, shoulders down the back. Now this is another leg strengthener. You ready? Lift the kneecaps, bring the hands to the hips. Don't move the trunk if you can. Good. Elbows up, shoulders up, trunk up. You guys already knew it was coming. Good. Very nice. I'm watching you. Very good job. Okay. So let's do a twist in the chair. Now, just like the start of class, now we want bone alignment for the twist. So ankles under the knees, knees in line with the hips. So I'm just showing you, my feet are on the floor. I'm showing you that the shin bone is perpendicular to the floor. The thighs are parallel. If you're super tall, you'll have to sit on a blanket because you want your knees in line with the hips, not higher. So if you're tall, sit on a blanket on the chair. Now I'm going to show you the twist. I'm going to bring my arms up to lengthen the sides of my trunk, lift my chest. Then I'm going to exhale, turn to the back, rest of the chair, hands wide. And then I'm going to move the elbows apart to move the collarbones apart, and I'm going to turn. Okay? Let's do that together. Press the feet down, lift the arms up, lift the chest, lift the side waist. Exhale, turn to the back of the chair, hands wide, elbows wide. Inhale, lift the chest. Grow tall through the crown of the head. Exhale, turn. Elbows apart. Upper chest spreading. Inhale, lift the chest. Grow tall. Exhale, turn. Inhale, lift. Exhale, turn. Inhale, lift. Exhale, turn. Inhale, release. Other side. Now, you want your hips on the same plane. If you're finding your hip, the opposite hip is coming forward, you can move the foot back. So we're turning to the left. You can move your right foot behind your left foot. Inhale, lift the arms, lift the chest. Exhale, turn to the left. Don't let the right hip come forward. Right hip stays back. Inhale, lift the side waist, lift the chest. Exhale, turn. Elbows moving apart. Collarbones moving apart, chest moving apart. Inhale, lift the chest. Exhale, turn. Inhale, grow tall. Exhale, turn. Inhale, grow tall. Exhale, turn. Inhale, grow tall. And release. Let's do that one more time. Bard Vajrasan, twist in the chair. So you can have your left foot behind your right foot. Press the feet down. Inhale, lift the arms, lift the chest, lift the chin. Exhale, turn to the right, release the hands, wide elbows, wide upper chest. Inhale, lift the chest, lift the chin. Exhale, turn. Inhale, lift. Lift the side waist, side ribs evenly. Exhale, turn. Inhale, lift. Exhale, turn. And then if you'd like, you could look over the right shoulder, but if the neck is a little stiff, look over the left shoulder. That'll be nice. Inhale, turn to the right. You can look over the left shoulder or the right shoulder. Then inhale to release. Second side. Inhale, lift the arms, lift the chest, lift the chin. Exhale, turn. Hands wide, elbows wide, collarbones wide. Inhale, lift the waist, lift the ribs, lift the chest, lift the chin. Exhale, turn. Inhale, grow tall. Space between all the vertebrae. Exhale, turn. And then again, inhale, exhale. You could add the turn of the head. You can look over the right shoulder for relief as you turn to the left, or you could look over the left shoulder. Breathe, inhale, grow tall. Exhale, turn. Inhale to release. Good. And now we're going to do bridge pose. So we're going to come to the floor. We're going to lay on the floor. And I'll show you what we're going to do. I lay down. And again, bone alignment. So the ankle, the back of the ankle is in line with my sitting bones or directly under my knees. And then I roll the shoulders away from my ear. I press my feet and I lift my hips. Now I look straight up for neck health, okay? Don't look left or right. Press both feet evenly, lift the hips up high. Okay? So go ahead and lie down. Bend the legs. Place the feet deliberately. Spread the toes. Have the ankles under the knees. Don't let the knees wing out. Outer thigh to inner thigh. Press the inner heel, the back of the heel as well as the outer heel. Roll the shoulders down the back and then lift the hips up. Look straight up to the ceiling. Press the feet down. Press the left foot. Lift the left hip. Press the right foot. Lift the right hip. Let the spine lift. Upper, middle, lower spine. Tailbone into the body. Middle buttocks up. And then come on down. And let's do it 2 more times. Bridge pose. Make sure the neck is long. Eyes looking straight up to the ceiling. You could even move the heels out slightly. Then press the feet down. Lift the hips, outer hips up. Middle buttock up, tailbone up. Lift, 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 lift the upper spine. Press the upper arms down, biceps rolling out. You can even turn your palms up to the ceiling to help turn the upper arm out. Lift the upper back, lift the middle back, lift the lower back. Beautiful. Make sure the knees are in line with the ankles. Good. And then slowly come on down. And then if you have it in you, one more time. Bridge pose. Roll the shoulders away from the ears, long neck. Press the feet. And notice which leg is stronger. And make sure the other leg is working too. Use the hamstrings, not just the front of the thighs. Top of the buttocks to the back of the knees. Oh, I'm seeing such beautiful bridge poses. Lift the upper back to the chest, chest to the chin. Upper arms down, biceps rolling out. Beautiful. Top of the thighs to the knees. Oh, such freedom in the spine. And then when you're ready, come on down. And now we're going to do legs up the wall. So some of you already did legs up the wall. And some of you haven't. So this is an inversion. Iyengar yoga is really big on inversions. Headstand, shoulder stand. But in the beginning, the first inversion is legs up the wall. So go ahead and bring your legs up a door, a file cabinet, a wall, and then have the arms by the sides of the trunk, at least 30 degrees away from the trunk, somewhere between shoulder height and 30 degrees. Palms facing the ceiling, biceps roll out, legs up. Rest the back, rest the legs. And if you don't have a wall, I got a chat. Thank you for your chat. Then you could bring your lower legs to a chair. And if you have bad back, I shouldn't say bad, I mean a sore back, then you could put your lower legs on a chair or a couch. I see you. That's very good. So the chair goes all the way to the back of the knee. Yeah, some of us don't have a wall. Not yet. Now, can you roll the heels apart, toes towards each other? Yeah, to release the inner groin, inner thigh. But try to relax the feet. Don't overdo the feet. Now it's time to soften the feet and soften the hands and soften the eyes, the lips, the tongue. So we always end class with total relaxation. So now we're moving into the part of the class where we allow all the different poses to take their effect by letting loose and letting go. So get in touch with your hands and your feet, soft hands, soft feet. Soften the soles of the feet, soften the toes, soften the palms, the fingers, a lot of power in our thoughts. So that's why we want to know what we're thinking. It's very powerful to question our thoughts. and then do the opposite of what we're thinking if it's not making us feel good. That's just the way life is. And so we have to accept our bodies, accept our thoughts, and work with them. That's our path. So here, use the exhalation to let loose, let go everywhere. And then for some of you, legs up the wall is not that comfortable. I understand. So lay flat with a blanket under the head for Shavasana. If legs up the wall is not working for you, then you don't just listen to anyone who tells you what to do. You listen to yourself. So we have a blanket under the head and neck, lay flat, and breathe into any tension, any pain, because the breath is very powerful and healing. Breathe into the armpit. And on the exhalation, release the abdomen, release the legs, release the arms. If you're still at the wall, you could cross your shins or bring your feet together in Baddha Konasana. Yeah, that's also really nice. So we're at the end of class. So you could cross the shins. You could bring your feet together, knees apart in Baddha Konasana. You could lie flat. And then with the eyes softening with the exhalations, with the lips and tongue soft, go inward. Yeah. So I got a chat that there's pressure on the back with the feet up. I wasn't sure if it's feet up the wall or on a chair. So then you want the legs bent and the lower legs on the chair. No pressure. You don't want pressure on the back of the neck. Shoulders rolling under will also help. Chest up. Even in Shavasana, you want the chest up. Sometimes it's too much to have the leg straight. So we put the lower leg on a chair all the way to the back of the knee. This is actually really important to know. And if you have your legs crossed, change the cross of the legs. Oh, even with the chair, then yeah. There's pressure on the neck. So you have support under the neck, a blanket under the neck. So we need to find some ease in total relaxation. Sometimes it's lying flat with the legs on the floor, support under the head and neck. And then I put in the chat information on the 6-week fundamental series starting January 30th. I hope some of you will consider signing up for that class. And we could work through your injuries or your challenges. It's more interactive. Today, it wasn't possible really to have a lot of interaction because the class is so big, but the fundamentals class is not as big. And we could have some interaction and I can help you with your individual issues. So we're running past the time I promised the class would end. You're welcome. So to come out of lying down in Iyengar yoga, we bend the knees into our chest with our legs together. We roll to our side. You could rest on the side for a breath or two. Then we look to the floor. Use our top arm to help us sit up. And then we listen to the peacefulness inside, that inner calling. Hopefully, the practice of yoga has brought you in touch with that quiet, peaceful place inside. Ultimately, yoga is about balance of the outer self, the peripheral, the body, and the inner self. I want to thank you so much for spending the time with me this morning. The highest in me balanced to the highest in you. Namaste.